Hey, welcome to Rich Experiences. Today, I'm going to talk about a very important topic. Is why I decided to stop drinking sink water in Latin America, South America, anywhere for that matter. Yeah, I know I could have said tap water, the proper way to say it. But hey, this is social media. Had to be a little more dramatic and say sink water. And if you think about it, that's what it is. You might as well turn up the sink and just start drinking, because you never know where that tap water's coming from. Could be coming from the sewer for all we know. So yeah, it's sink water. Either way you slice it or dice it. So the reasons I stopped drinking sink water in South America. Contamination. See, tap water in some areas of South America may be contaminated with bacteria, viruses, parasites, making it unsafe to drink without proper treatment. And I know, and also I noticed a lot of people getting sick. On my travels, I ran into a few people who got sick drinking the tap water. So, in all seriousness, I thought this is a very serious topic that needs to be discussed, because water is life. Okay, we all need water to live. Our bodies are made up of around 70% water. So it's very important the fuel that you put into your body. So don't go just drinking anything. Don't just go pouring sink water in your body without knowing the risk factors. So let's talk about it. Now, here are reasons why I decided to stop drinking sink water in South America, or anywhere for that matter, and possible reasons why you should too. Number one, contamination. See, tap water in some areas of South America may be contaminated with things like bacteria, viruses, parasites, all that, making it unsafe to drink without proper treatment. Then there's waterborne diseases. Consuming untreated tap water can lead to waterborne diseases such as cholera, typhoid fever, hepatitis A, and other strange conditions. Then there's lack of chlorinations. See, in certain regions, tap water may not be adequately treated with chlorine or other disinfectants to kill harmful microorganisms. Then there's old infrastructure. Don't get me on that. See, aging water infrastructure in some South American countries and cities may lead to issues such as leaks, pipe corrosion, and infiltration of pollutants. Then there's chemical contaminants. Tap water in certain areas, it just may contain elevated levels of chemical pollutants, such as heavy metals like lead and arsenic, or agriculture runoff like pesticides and fertilizers. So you got to think about that before you go pouring that sink water in your body. And I ain't done. Let's continue talking about some other reasons not to drink tap water. How about boil water advisories? See, authorities may issue boil water advisories due to quality concerns, indicating that tap water is not safe for consumption without boiling. And truth is, sometimes boiling doesn't even solve the issue. So even that can't be trusted. Then there's unreliable water quality. This is a common one. Inconsistent water quality monitoring and treatment practices in some regions can result in varying levels of water safety quality and reliability. Then there's something called high turbidity. See, during rainy seasons and in areas with poor water treatment facilities, tap water may have high turbidity, indicating the presence of suspended solids and potentially harmful contaminants. Then there's industrial pollution. That's on the rise. Industrial activities in certain areas may contribute to water pollution, contaminating water sources at the source and affecting tap quality water. Then there's unsafe piping. Unsafe piping materials. In some older buildings or neighborhoods, pipes made of lead or other hazardous materials may leach into the water, posing health risks for you and me. This is real. This has even happened in the US. So it's important to note that quality of tap water can vary greatly depending on the specific location and local infrastructure. It's always advisable to follow recommendations from your local health authorities and consider using alternative sources of drinking water, such as bottled water or water treated with filtration or purification methods. This is what I do. And I want to say that, the water quality is serious everywhere around the world, even in the US, but especially serious in these other parts of the world, sometimes developing countries or even third world countries that we travel to and happily drink the water without thinking twice. You have to think about the water that you're putting into your body. Just like when you fuel your car up with gas, if you pump a lot of low quality gas in your tank, it might start putting out. Same with your body. You pump a lot of low quality fuel in your body, then one day it could put out. So this is a serious topic. And be sure to share this with other travelers and other people that you know in general. Now, the reason why I became so sensitive about water quality and the water that I put in my body is because really it started when it hit home. When it hit home for me. I'm from Michigan, and it hit home for me when the big issue of water quality hit in Flint, Michigan, and affected all of those people, those families, those children with lead poisoning. And those people, those children especially, will never be right because of that lead poisoning. So that's what really opened my eyes to the quality of water that I put in my body. And if you're not familiar with the Flint, Michigan water incident, it still resonates loud, and it still resonates and rings through this nation today.
The days have turned to months since the water crisis in Flint, Michigan first came to light. The lead poisoning in the water, the result of a shift in the water supply ordered by an emergency manager to cut costs, is being connected to everything from a rise in lead levels in children's blood to Legionnaire's disease. Brenda Lawrence represents the 14th District in Michigan. This is her home turf. I asked her what that water crisis looks like. Talk directly to us, Congressman, about what is happening in Flint right now. What are people dealing with up close?
Right now, there is this lack of trust in our government. There's water being distributed. There are central locations where people are picking up water. So think about water to drink, water to cook with, water to bathe with. It is a situation that has so many ripple effects. Just think about our government. There's three basic things every human being that is a citizen of these United States expect from their government. That's air, that's clean to breathe, food that's safe to eat, and water that they can consume that will not harm them. We fail in a basic trust of our government. We don't think about it in America when we turn on our water. So what did we learn from this situation? We learned that there was a breakdown in our government. There, for some reason, there was this sense of, for economic reasons, not to comply with the Clean Water Act, not to ensure that the safety of American citizens, it was 100,000 people, 7,000 children. The children is a critical issue because lead that was in the water, because of lack of treatment, it attacks the brain of a developing child, and it's irreversible. You cannot go back and clean it up.
When did you first become aware of the problem?
I became aware of the problem living in Michigan when Dan Kildee started talking about this water issue. So I drove up, he's an hour away from me, and we sat down with the EPA, the Environmental Protection, and we also sat down with the Michigan Environmental Quality Department and said, what is happening here? Because they were under an emergency manager. An emergency manager is the state government taking all home rule away from a local city. So the state made this decision. And then from that, my heart went out to this community. I mean, I'm a member of Congress. I was previously a mayor. Our ultimate responsibility is to take care of the people of this country. And so I sit on the oversight committee, and I called for a hearing asking for all those people who were the decision makers to come and tell us what happened, when it happened, and why did you not treat the water? As a mayor, I used to say this all the time. People say, what keeps you awake at night? I said, it is you flush your toilet and you go to bed. I am concerned about the infrastructure under the ground. If we cannot provide clean water to our communities, to our country, we cannot live. And this water main breaks, bridges falling, all of these things we don't see it and everything seems normal. But those of us who know, we have an infrastructure crisis, and the poor and the areas where you're poor and the areas where there's majority, minority, those areas tend to have the greatest crisis waiting to explode.
So talk about why the pressure on electeds has permitted this to continue, because you look at from the outside, you look at our electoral system and you say, well, local people elect local officials, they should be accountable for local needs. Why hasn't that worked? And instead, why have we had the result of kicking these infrastructure needs down the road?
Let's look at the financing of cities in America. The poorer the community, the less resources they have. The poorer the community, the less voice they have. They do not have the power of the big voices, the infrastructure people the residents that would say this is unacceptable. We know poor people are not heard. So then they are usually in the older parts of the community. So that elevates the challenges of their infrastructure. So if I have a choice and the infrastructure is failing, I have money and resources, I move. But if I don't have resources, I'm there. This is my home. This is where I live because I don't have the money to move. So the people who are in power choose other locations. So here we are with this epidemic in our country with the people with the less amount of influence and resources.
So how do we need to restructure not just our priorities, but our democracy, our systems of power?
It's incumbent upon me as a member of Congress. That's why I called for this hearing. And I'm going to continue this with the messaging on investment of our infrastructure. If we start with water and saying that we are going to finance the replacing of lead pipes in America, that's simplistic, but that is so powerful. It's an investment from us to these communities, federal dollars that we're talking about. We find money for a multitude of things. Water is basic in America. We must have a collective agenda on fixing the water system in America.
Should Governor Rick Snyder be replaced?
Rick Snyder is the ultimate responsible person. He said it in his state of the state. he apologized. And he said, the buck stops with me. And he said he was going to fix it. There's going to be a lot of discussion on where he is. I don't think this man deliberately, as a governor, poisoned the children of Flint. I will never say that. But the reality is 9,000 children have been poisoned by lead in our drinking water. Part of the job for us as elected officials is to know what the challenges are so that we can go do our job and legislate. So I'm so proud of the Congressional Progressive Caucus and the Black Caucus and the leadership are going to Flint to hear the people. And I'm pushing for this not to be an episode, but a call to action.
A call to action to change things. What changes could you imagine? I mean, what do we need to change about the way we make decisions, about the way we fund infrastructure, about how we, keep people accountable? In brief, do you see it?
I see the way that we change things is that we really elevate the basic needs of our country. Security of our country is extremely important. The investment in our infrastructure is extremely important. But food, air, and water, that should always be a priority. Because if we don't have those, we die.
A priority meaning government should have planning. How
Yes.
important is planning?
It's the budget. It's investment of resources, making it a priority. When we debate the budget, and we have things like, are we going to fund Planned Parenthood? And we have an infrastructure crisis. We spent millions of dollars on the Benghazi hearing. Millions. That millions of dollars could have gone into our infrastructure. We got to get it right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.